Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host as always, Daniel Levi, your co-host Shaq. We're going to be recapping UFC Chile, Kamaru Usman versus Damian Maia. And man, Kamaru Usman, do you think he used more than 30% this time, Shaq?
I mean, like we said, on the show, that is 30% puts 100% of us to sleep, and that's exactly what he did last night. I was totally expecting that. I stopped watching after the second round. Look, there's just certain things I'm interested in, and, the two fights I've walked away from, they both have included Damian Maia in them. So, I guess I would have to put some of the blame on Damian Maia. But, I mean, Tyron Woodley and Kamaru, I walked away from the TV. Like I said, complete snooze fest. Hey, but congrats, he dominated it from start to finish. I mean, but I'm glad that we can, put the myth that Kamaru has better stand-up than Colby aside. So we can just go ahead and shut that down.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say about that. Number one, he should be thanking his lucky stars that he wasn't facing pawns last night. And,
because the eye poke slip right hand combo would have been very, very key to that fight.
And I heard they were offering me plus 180 odds on my boy Ponzinibbio. So, Kamaru...
Don't want to do it again?
He got lucky. And, I know how we're talking about how he's boring and people are going to say all this stuff about, oh, you tried beating Damian Maia. Hey, stupid. When Colby Covington fought Damian Maia, he made it exciting. And not only did he beat Damian Maia's ass, he did it in Sao Paulo, Brazil, his hometown.
Just put it this way. Maia would have not answered the bell for the fourth round. He was in a bloody mess in his own favela in Sao Paulo. And Colby went out there, walked the walk and talked the talk, and dominated him from start to finish.
Yeah, and, I wish... well, I don't wish because I'm really excited about the Colby versus RDA fight, but if they were both not getting title shots right now, I'd be like, bro, Colby's got to get that title shot over Kamaru all day.
100%. And look, Dana's, criticized Kamaru in the past for his fighting style, and I mean, he did no favors in that. I mean, he fought boring once again. Now, look, there were several times where I felt like he could have really busted up Damian Maia like Colby. Colby wasn't afraid to get in there and get ugly with Damian. And I mean, you saw Damian's face in his own favela. So I think I think that's why Colby's getting these big fights, and that's why I don't think Kamaru's going to be in the main event his next fight.
Yeah, I agree. They're gonna bury my boy Kamaru on the Fight Pass prelims just like Elias this coming weekend. You know what I'm saying?
They're tired of the the little slap kicks and the kicks with no steam on them. You know what I'm saying?
Think such a physical dude would be knocking people out left and right?
He's not I mean, the guy's a ring man for one. I mean,
bro.
What physical guy?
Someone tweeted something hilarious. I don't know who it is.
The guy put on he actually went to be a ring boy. Like, I'm already questioning his manhood right there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's a tough guy. Of course, they give him Trevor Smith. Yeah, of course, he's a tough guy. Don't get me wrong. I respect him as a fighter. He won't quit. He's got amazing cardio, and he almost stalled my boy Brad out. But I mean,
he didn't almost do shit, by the way. But you know how they call my boy Kamaru the Nigerian Nightmare? Someone said this shit on Twitter. It's more like the Nigerian NyQuil. You know what I'm saying?
And I see why Colby calls him Scamru. You know what I'm saying?
Skamaru. Oh my god, that's too much. But Damian Maia's lost 3 in a row, but I still think he can beat a lot of people. I mean, when that guy ties up with you, when he takes your back, chances are you're getting grinded out for the duration.
Speaking about that, when Damian had his back in the first round, that separation was completely disgusting, in my opinion. You let them work in that situation.
Who was reffing that fight again?
Was it Goddard?
I know it wasn't Goddard, right? Goddard's the worst ref in the game.
I'm not sure who was reffing it, but
But bottom line, Kamaru took care of biz. He got a nice win. So which round did they give to Maia? Was it the first?
Yeah, first.
Okay. So Tatiana Suarez took care of Alexa Grasso, and it's interesting because when you look at Tatiana Suarez's record, especially in the UFC, she's been finishing all the chicks she fights, except Viviane Pereira, who actually has a really good fight coming up with Yan Zona, and that's going to be really exciting to watch. But aside from that, she's been first round finishing these chicks. The one time we thought about fading her, our girl actually lasted the full 3-round duration, but it still didn't work out. So now the question is, I mean, who do you put Alexa Grasso in there with next? Excuse me, not Alexa Grasso. Tatiana Suarez.
I think Tatiana's top 5. I said, last show that I don't think anyone's going to beat her. Unless they're in that top 5. I think Felice could be a good fight for her. Or, let's go with Felice or Karate Hottie. Or the winner of Carla and Claudia Gadelha.
What's my girl Randa Marcos up to these days?
Randa's about to take a L in a few weeks, and or how about Mackenzie Dern versus Tati
at a bantamweight catchweight?
You know what I'm saying?
141-pound catchweight.
Don't talk about my girl Mackenzie like that. Let her eat.
So Dominic Reyes took care of Jared Cannonier, and we were getting a lot of questions on our YouTube, like how could you pick Dominic Reyes to not just beat Jared but to finish Jared? And I mean, he finished him in under 3 minutes, and it's interesting because Jared's a guy, he went the distance with Jan Blachowicz, he went the distance with Glover Teixeira, and my boy Dominic Reyes came out here and starched him in the first.
Yeah, I thought he was going to, utilize some takedowns, but Jared actually stuffed the takedowns. But it turns out he was better on the feet, I thought Cannonier was a little overrated, just my overall thoughts on him. Reyes is a young kid. I think his first L is coming right around the corner as well, to make no mistake about it. He said he wanted to fight Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson's like the young Gray Maynard of the light heavyweight division, so, let's see it, Jordan Johnson versus Reyes.
Yeah, I mean, I like that, but I think it's a tough stylistic matchup for the 6'4" light heavyweight.
Because, Jordan's going to hug that leg.
Yeah, he's my boy Dominic's going to need plan B after that one. But what I'm thinking is, how about the winner of Jean Vellante and Sam Alvey for Dominic Reyes?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy contest for him.
Get him a nice little name win, get him to 10-0, promote our rising prospect at 6'4", and
JDS number 15.
Oh, wow. Y'all should take a look at these rankings. My boy Junior Cigano is number 15 at heavyweight. Wow. That's the disrespect, huh? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not 1 or 2, but he should at least be 6 or 7, right? So Guido Canetti defeated Diego Rivas, and it was one of those situations where Diego definitely felt the pressure of fighting at home, and he just simply couldn't pull the trigger, and Guido was the better man. But when you look at this long term and you think about, am I going to fade Guido Canetti long term? Fuck yes, you are. And long term, you will win that battle because his very next fight, he's going to get a step up. And I guarantee you that ATA, allergic to adversity, is going to be right back.
Yeah, props to Guido. He proved me wrong. He actually went 3 rounds and won. Rivas was touching his hands and, not pulling the trigger. And, props to Guido, man. At 38 years old, I guess he is improving.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. But I really think it was more so Diego not pulling the trigger than it was Guido's improvements because, I mean, the openings were there. It's just, like when Diego took him down and he slammed him, then he got reversed. It was little things like that. It's like if he could have kept that top position, he could have went on to win the fight. But it was what it was, right? So Andrea Lee defeated Veronica Macedo, and, congrats to her. But who the fuck gave her fight of the night for that shit, man? I mean, I guess it was kind of back and forth on the feet or whatever, but then she took her down and held her down. I mean, that's fight of the night these days, Shaq?
Yeah, I thought Tractor and Cummings was a better fight, to be honest.
Puelas and Silva.
Yeah, Puelas and Silva. Pantoja and Moreno, even though it was one-sided, I thought those were better fights. But, shout out to Andrea Lee, KGB. She keeps doing her thing, but, it's not time to fade her yet, guys.
Oh, yeah. We'll let you know when that time is, and now that, she's probably going to get ranked, because you know how this shit goes, man. So, I mean, who are we thinking of putting her in there with next?
How about Polyana?
Oh, my girl Polyana Vitella? Bro, she just ran through.
I was not expecting that at all.
That was quite impressive. I mean, at the same time, I think some tougher girls are going to eat that kick and keep fighting.
I guess the jab came out of her.
she legit took a knee from I mean, it was a perfectly placed liver shot. And, credit to what you were saying on the show, the Nova and Yao style still works for the female fights.
Yeah, I mean, don't fade the Nova girls. Just put it that way. Ketlin, Polyana, they're future. Well, Ketlin's about to be in a title fight soon, and Polyana's looking like she's a future top 15. I want to see Polyana, in there with somebody like maybe a Joanne Calderwood. Let Polyana butcher her real quick, get her out the rankings, because let's be honest here, she don't belong. Or Courtney Casey, like top 10, like come on guys, like Courtney Casey, is she below? She is below 500.
Habitual underperformer Casey, you know what I'm saying?
Courtney Casey versus Polyana, I got Polyana.
Yeah, don't fade the Nova União girls, fade the Nova União guys, and you'll win, just like my boy Jack Hermanson did a week or two ago. So Vicente Luque defeated Chad Lepre, and it started off kind of close, man. They're both bouncing around, beautiful footwork, and they're both getting their feel, they're both getting their timing. And then when Chad Lepre decided to go for that takedown, it was at that moment, Shaq, that I knew he was fucked.
Yeah, that left hook of Vicente, man. I thought maybe, Bilal might have had a chin issue, but that left hook is money. That left hook has floored several guys, and I mean, Vicente's no slouch, man. I thought Lepre was gonna win this fight, and Vicente proved me wrong, man. I thought Lepre was doing well to start off, kind of like how it was kind of like playing out how like Strickland and Zaleski was kind of, Strickland was kind of, getting a little bit of the better, and then out of nowhere, boom, out cold. So Vicente's no slouch. I mean, Vicente's right outside that top 15 along with Zaleski, guys like Nordine, you know what I'm saying? So don't be shocked if he's in there with my boy Zaleski, or maybe how about Vicente versus Yair Bahadurizada?
Yeah, I like all those options. And Vicente Luque, I think a lot of people forget the kid's only 26 years old. He has 6 wins in the UFC. All 6 of those wins are inside the distance. He's obviously one of the most dangerous guys in the UFC welterweight division. The only setbacks inside the octagon are against Michael Graves and Leon Edwards. I mean, come on. Those are... Mike Graves at the time, that was a guy that won the first round against Kamaru. That was a guy that beat Vicente Luque, choked out Randy Brown. And Leon, I mean, what do we got to say about Leon? He's headlining a card coming up soon, and he'll be very popular after the result. You know what I'm saying? But look, Vicente Luque, it's time to step up, man, because do they even have him in the top 15? They should. Let's take a look at, wow, the disrespect. They don't even have Vicente Luque.
He was, but then when he lost to Leon, they took him out.
Oh, you lose to one of the best guys in the world, and now we're going to take you out the rankings?
Leon was unranked at the time, so they...
these rankings are a complete joke.
To do, well, the thing is, this motherfucker really went from 7 to 15 because he lost to Colby.
Dong?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people in this ranking that don't belong,
really,
right?
Number 6 needs to leave. Number 9, he ain't going to hang around for too long. 11... gone. 12 and 13 probably
13 can stay, but 12 and 15, like, come on now.
I'm just saying, Nordine, Zaleski, Vicente would butcher him.
Yeah.
would butcher him, and butcher him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. So, hopefully these media members put Vicente in those rankings where he rightfully belongs. And Michel Tractor Brazeres, man, talk about a winner. Talk about a guy that I don't want to fade. Talk about a guy that's 25-2. That's the record of a long-term winner, Shaq.
The split decision was shocking in my opinion. I thought he won every round, to be honest. I didn't even think it was close. But apparently one judge scored it for Cummings. But Tractor, I mean, like you said, the guy finds a way to get his hand raised. I like that little fence grab he had in the second round. That little subtle fence grab.
Cheap to win, baby.
Got a nice little warning. And the weaseled again. I didn't even think it was the Weasel. I just thought he won, to be honest.
He's on a 7-fight win streak. He's 9-2 in the UFC, 25-2 overall. The guy's a monster, and people were saying, "Oh, it's a 5'6" guy taking on a former 205er."
Yeah, it's a different. When you get in there with,
you're looking at it the wrong way. So now I gotta know. I mean, who do you think he should fight next?
Man, that's a good question. Like one of those guys I just mentioned, man, because I mean he is 25-2. Maybe a Vicente or a Nordine if he takes care of business here. Because I mean he was right outside the top 15. I like.
Tell me what you think about this. What about Gunnar Nelson versus Michel Brazeres?
I mean it works with me. You know what I'm saying? If he's willing to, but the thing is, are they gonna do that in Brazil or? Because Tractor's next fight's got to be on that side of the country. They don't send him to the U.S.
Yeah, when they send him to the U.S., he wins too.
They rarely send him to the U.S., but in Brazil, I mean, the guy's a money train. South America, he's a money train. But he's a tough matchup, man. That guy's so strong. I mean, that takedown, the first takedown when Cummings sprawled 3 times and he kept going and he kept going and he got it against a guy who's way bigger than him. That's it's very impressive. And Tractor is no slouch.
100%. So now it's time to.
What?
It's time to go up there and step up in competition. Maybe get that Vicente Luque fight. Man, we're looking at these rankings. They're a complete, absolute joke. A bunch of frauds are ranked, but now it's time for Tractor to step up. Look, 25-2. There's no more Mads Burnells. No more fucking, who are these guys? JC Cottrell. Come on, man. It's time to step up now. And for Zach Cummings, do you want to say he dropped the ball, or do you just want to give the credit to my boy Tractor?
I think he got beat. I didn't think he dropped the ball at all. I think Tractor is one of these guys where, you watch him on tape and you just can't wait to get this fat little Brazilian weasel out of here, and he keeps winning fights. He's just one of those guys you need to stay away from, and I think he's just a better fighter.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this one, man, was a one-sided beatdown. Alexandre Pantoja, he went out there. He beat Brandon Moreno for the second time. I know you saw that fight on Tough where he choked him out in the second round. People said it was the fight of the season, but really it was the beatdown of the season. And this was the beatdown of last night's card, man, because, man, credit to Brandon Moreno for staying in there. I thought he was about to get knocked out, get choked out, get pounded out, whatever. But, man, he stayed in there. He took his ass whooping like a man. Pantoja looked awesome. Pantoja rebounded from defeat like a man.
Yeah, Pantoja, he let me down in that loss. I didn't like the way he lost that fight. And, he came back, and I guess he just has Moreno's number. And, I thought that was a 30-25 performance, in my opinion. I thought there was 2 10-8 rounds in that fight. And, it was a hellacious beating. I think he might have sucked the life out of Moreno. I don't know where Moreno goes from here because...
Moreno's heading down the Smolka territory now.
Because that was a hellacious ass whooping. I got his ass beat. And Pantoja proved that he just took his number 7 spot. He's going to be in the top 10. And, Pantoja's a threat. Pantoja is going to be in some good fights. Who should he fight next?
Man, lots of options there because, as you know, flyweight is a serious division. I'm always up for, feeding Tim Elliott to one of our up-and-coming guys, you know what I'm saying? Even though Pantoja is a vet. But, they got Tim Elliott number 13. Let's see Tim Elliott versus Pantoja, 12 versus 13.
Tim Elliott did tear his ACL, so he's going to be out for a while. But, how about... No, I don't want that for Dyko.
What's my boy?
What about John Moraga? What's John Moraga up to these days?
Oh, yeah, John Moraga, if he wants to get in with Pantoja, sign me up. I like Pantoja versus Bibulatov as well. But you know what else I like? If you want to see some Brazilian versus Brazilian action, what do you think about Formiga versus Pantoja?
That works as well. You know what I'm saying? Formiga smoked Ben 10 his last fight. But if Ben 10 wants to, come back...
Ben 10's not going to fight for another 2 years, Shaq.
I saw him training the other day. If Ben 10 wants to come back, he can get that... Ben
10's wearing sunglasses indoors these days, you know what I'm saying?
He can get that Pantoja smoke or that Dyko smoke, so...
They don't know who you're talking about when you say Dyko.
Oh, my boy Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The undefeated Brazilian flyweight prospect.
The dark horse of the flyweight division right behind our boy Mateus Nicolau. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And my boy Jared Brooks needs to be in those rankings too. Take Magomed Bibulatov out.
Bro, don't talk about Russian like that.
A little fraud. We played him when he was minus 400 against Merab.
That never happened.
And he got knocked the fuck out.
That was a figment of our imagination, bro. So, max bet season continued at UFC Chile. Gabriel Benitez came through as a max bet winner against Humberto Bandenet in under 40 seconds. It was a 39-second KO. And, man, it was badass because I expected him to go out there and teach him a vet lesson. But when we talk about vet lessons, we talk about, a nice little 30-27, 30-26, a nice little late TKO. He knocked him the fuck out in under a minute, Shaq.
Yeah, he wasn't on Gabriel Mowgli Benitez's level. We heard all the talk, Gabriel can't win 2 in a row. Oh, Gabriel's chinny, this and that. The kid had no business being there.
He got knocked out once in 25 pro fights. Oh, my God. He must be chinny.
He lost to Philly. Oh, man. But, Gabriel proved that, that he is the more experienced guy, the guy that's been in the cage. And, like we said, he's experienced everything in the cage. When Humberto, this is what happens when young fighters are in the cage of vets. Gabriel had to learn this lesson a few years ago. Hey, sometimes you get caught on the chin and go out. It sucks. He'll be back, but it was Gabriel's time. I thought it was a mismatch, and it proved to be that way.
Not only was it a mismatch, but it was the most closely lined mismatch on the entire card. We capitalized, which we are known for. That's why you go to bestfightpicks.com. That's why you sign up for that VIP package so we can let you know where to go big, because these spots, look, you got to be opportunistic, but my last 3 bets to win have all been max bets, and it's not stopping here, man, because this is continuing this Sunday in Liverpool, England, and actually this weekend, I'm thinking it's underdog season, man. I think I'm getting back to my roots with those underdogs. Got a couple nice options in the works, but, man, max bet season, Gabriel, 39-second KO, didn't even have a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, and, like I said, man, it was a complete mismatch, and that's what we're the best at. We're the best at identifying the mismatches that are line minus 120, the mismatches that are line minus 135. The list goes on and on. The mismatches on, Chinese girls making their debut, or on bums like Randy Brown, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're the best at, and that's why that's why they call us Best Fight Picks.
Yeah, and I've officially joined the 100-unit club, so now all my plays third-party tracked, over 100 units profit. So, and I'm not one of these guys that risks, a bullshit 50 units per event and, says that I'm, doing parlays with inside the distance props when we all know there's $5 limits on those, and then you sit here and be like, oh, I won 20 units tonight. No, you won $20 tonight. Shut the fuck up.
By the way, some of these lines I was seeing that, I'm not gonna call anyone out, but some of these lines I saw with the people placing their bets, I never saw those lines actually for that guy. So I'm not saying they're frauds, but they're frauds.
They're complete frauds. And, like I said before, when you look at my work, you see hard work, you see dedication, you see a long-term winner. So when you're ready to sign up and play what we're playing, bestfightpicks.com, baby. And you'll get a nice little Gabriel Benitez 39-second KO. Consensus max bet is what it is. So maxbetseason.com. Now, Enrique Barzola, he took care of Brandon Davis, 30-27, 30-26, 30-26. I actually thought Brandon Davis might have won the first round, but he definitely lost the next two. I thought he got the better of the striking exchanges that first round. But when you're giving up takedowns like that to a guy like Enrique, a guy who's a consummate winner, a guy who I believe is now 5-1 in the UFC.
Really 6-0.
Enrique is serious.
Yeah, I thought Enrique, controlled the fight from start. I thought the first round was close, but I thought Enrique edged it out. Davis is no slouch, but he's got to clean up some things. Like we said, he's got to work up on that tie-up game, on his wrestling, on his takedown defense, and that's exactly where Enrique won the fight. And I think Davis is no slouch. He'll be back, but he definitely needs to clean up a couple things. I actually think he's going to have a decent career in the UFC, but like we said, Enrique is a consistent winner. He wins majority of the fights he's going to be in. I mean, we saw that Gabriel Benitez fight. And I think Enrique deserves a big fight next. He's put in work at 145.
Well, he called out Zabit.
Yeah, and, Zabit, that little, never mind. Just when you get to play the fade Zabit, just don't ask any questions.
I mean, you think they're going to give Enrique that Zabit fight? You thinking Enrique versus Duha?
No, they're going to do Zabit versus Cub or Zabit versus Andre, just because they have to main event it down there in Moscow. But
my boy Enrique ain't ranked, so he needs one of these guys next.
Yeah, he'll probably... I think Enrique should fight Feely or something, man. They're both outside the top 15. Winner gets that top 15 spot. Feely's been putting in work. Enrique's been putting in work. And I think it's a good style matchup for both guys because, Feely's a long striker. He's going to try to do what Davis did that first round a little bit. And we already know what Enrique's going to try to do. He's going to try to mix him up, dump Feely, and break Feely like people have done in the past. So that's the fight I want to see.
Yeah, I like that fight. Enrique Barzola versus Feely, the winner gets a top 15 spot. And with Barzola, you got to stop those takedowns. But if you can, I think he's shown vulnerability standing up, and it's going to take the right guy to exploit that. I wonder if Feely is that guy. But with Barzola, you got to keep it standing. He does leave a lot of openings. I've noticed it. Gabriel showed it. Brandon Davis showed it in the first round. And I think you give him a perennial top 15 guy like Feely, he might be able to show it too if he can keep the fight upright, which is easier said than done because Barzola's got some serious entries. Where'd the motherfucker learn how to wrestle, Shaq?
I said that work at ATT, bro. He's been putting in work with Pantoja.
He just randomly turned into a badass wrestler?
He's been putting in work with your boy Juan Puerta as well. He's been putting in work with Gritzmacher. You know what I'm saying? They got a nice little group down there. And
is he like a Peruvian wrestling champ or something?
I don't think do they have wrestling down there?
You see those entries?
That's just that solid MMA work.
Man, my boy Enrique is no slouch, but, Brandon Davis will be back, too. I think the kid's going to go on to put on some exciting fights in the UFC. Now, Frankie Saenz defeated Henry Briones. We can keep it short and sweet. Two old men in there throwing down, having a nice little...
Shout out to Frankie. He will be faded when the time is right.
A little grandpa battle in there. And
I need that Murad money back, Frankie.
It's time for... hey, Frankie's on a 2-fight win streak. It's time to take a step up the ladder. So,
yeah.
If he... who they got a bantamweight for my boy? I mean, damn, my boy Eddie Wineland still ranks.
How about let my boy Thomas Almeida get an easy win real quick?
Oh yeah, Frankie's not really a guy that's gonna test that chin. So, as long as you don't touch Tomas's chin, he's gonna win. So, I like that. Frankie Saenz versus Tomas Almeida, and man, the curtain jerker. Talk about an upset. Talk about a fluke. Talk about a comeback. I mean, this kind of reminded me of Magomed Ankalaev versus Paul Craig. I mean, Felipe Silva was beating the shit out of Claudio Puelles, and in the last round, he got caught with a low percentage finishing move. He got caught with a knee bar, something you don't see often in the UFC, and Claudio Puelles got a $50K bonus.
Yeah, I thought Felipe would go out there and butcher him, but at one point, this was gonna be a play for me possibly, you know what I'm saying? Because I thought it was a complete mismatch, and it was a complete mismatch. Felipe definitely, had some little hairy areas with the takedown defense, and on the mat kept playing with him. Firstly, I think Osiris Maia should have stopped the fight on a couple of different occasions. I mean, Claudio was flopping to his back, eating multiple punches on the mat, but like we say, these things, that's why we have a limit. That's why we say, a certain number. If it's not in our range, it's not in our range, and it wasn't in our range, so we had to pass. Because this is where the fluke situations start happening. This is when the flukes start flying in the air, and, everyone can admit that when they were stepping in the octagon, you could just feel the fluke in the air. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely felt it, and for some reason in my gut, like after the first round, I just felt like something was gonna end up happening, and guess what happened, Claudio? It was a total Paul Craig Ankalaev situation. 30-26 about to happen, and then out of nowhere, some fluke shit.
I feel like when you play with your food, that's when bad things happen. That's why you got to go ahead, get the guy out of there right away. Exactly. Don't even give him a chance to win the fight.
Get him out.
And he gave him a chance to win the fight, and he did win the fight. And it was, man, imagine how Felipe feels right here, right now.
And I mean, man, that was embarrassing on his part.
Yeah, it was, and I hope he bounces back. Because I mean, Felipe is clearly the better fighter. Felipe beat the shit out of him. There's one guy who better get a CT scan, and it ain't Felipe Silva. I'll tell you that right now. So.
And one guy got $50K, so
and it wasn't Felipe either. So that's the fight game. You got to take an ass whooping for 12 and a half minutes in order to get that $50K bonus.
I think Puelas needs to do the same exact thing, because I actually did think he got better, and which he did get better, but it still wasn't enough. I think he needs to take another 2 years off to get better, because, I mean...
Invest that $50K,
swimming
move
with these
to the
sharks,
States.
Because he's a kid, and he's in there with fucking guys like Felipe, these sharks, these animals, and he's very lucky that he pulled that bullshit off, because he's lucky Felipe's got no jiu-jitsu.
There's only so many of those ass whoopings that you can take over and over.
He hit the body shots fine this time, but fucking, which we expected he would, but, I mean, the kid still needs a lot of work.
Don't get me wrong, because, like, soon he's going to start going out cold from these shots, so he better take some time to get that seasoning on point. That's all I got to say about that. Well, UFC Chile, it was a fun card. Our max bet on Gabriel Benitez won a $50K bonus as well, so you know what I'm saying. BestFightPicks.com this weekend is going down at UFC Liverpool. Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till. It's a very contentious fight, man. A lot of people have some strong opinions on that fight. I know we do too, and I know there's some opportunities on that card betting-wise. Those lines are going to drop in the next day or two, and it's underdog season is all I got to say, Shaq. I'm pretty damn sure we're going to have that opportunity to capitalize on that plus money.
If we say max bet season, you know what time it is. It's time to get that money out, and it's time to load up and capitalize on these spots that we've been talking about. Guys, when we say max bet season, have we ever let you down?
Consensus max bets are undefeated, and that's just facts.
That is just a fact. So, max bet season, hit that email, bestfightpicks@gmail.com. We'll get you situated away. And, not only UFC Liverpool, but UFC Utica in New York is going to be max bet season 100%. I'm talking about max bet season times 2, maybe even max bet season times 3. So if you're looking to buy a long-term package, now is definitely the time. We got a lot of easy money across the board coming up.
Yeah, this is a great time to make some money. And, I mean, you can get the VIP, so you can get all the plays that Shaq and I make. But if you just want to deal with Shaq and not with me, hit up his individual package. If you just want to deal with me and not Shaq, hit up my individual package, and we're happy to help. BestFightPicks.com. Buy this Liverpool VIP package, and if it doesn't profit, you get the next 2 events free. Make sure you subscribe to Half the Battle on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Follow me at Best Fight Picks. Follow Shaq at MMA Genius 05. We'll be back later this week to break down UFC Liverpool. Hook up those 5-star reviews on iTunes. And make sure you sign up to BestFightPicks.com today. So until the next time, let's cash these bets.